All right, welcome back, fellow investors. My name is Chris Sachinelli, and I get to build, buy, and sell simple, profitable businesses every single day. And today we're talking about another simple growth hack that can help you get to your first 100 customers, right? So, a big number for bootstrappers is getting to that first initial threshold, which we call critical mass or traction. Ideally, inside of getting it there, we're doing two things. The first is definitely we want to be able to cover our costs, right? So we're trying to drive enough economic profitability to the revenue in which we're bringing in that we're profitable, right? We're covering costs, we're break even. The second thing that we're trying to do is to get qualified feedback and be able to build a better product to be able to get to better customer outcomes from this journey and this experience of getting to our first 100 customers. The growth hack that we're going to be talking about today, right? Again, these are simple, profitable strategies, right? Simple tactics that pretty much anybody, it's just a matter of putting in the boring work, putting in the hard work, which sometimes folks don't want to do, but it works, right? These are simple things that work. Today, we're talking about creating a targeted list of 100 of your ideal partner personas, right? So I know we are typically used to hearing ICP, ideal customer personas, but today what we're really talking about is your ideal partner persona, right? This is an opportunity to go out to the market and find other folks who are doing cool things that complement or synergize what it is that you're building and bringing to market, right? So it's an awesome exercise if you haven't already done it, because it gets you to it forces you to kind of get more in tune with your market, who's out there. Sometimes maybe I know we talk about doing market research and stuff like that before we start building and everything, but sometimes we get a little bit excited and we go out there and we don't have a full scope of the landscape. This strategy almost forces us to do that at a very deep level, really early into our life cycle, right? So again, when you're doing good profitable deals, you want to kill things on the vine fast, right? Kill the vine on the bad on the vine fast, so that all you're left with is good. And a big part of the reason why we do a lot of the simple growth strategies to get to simple profitable outcomes that we do is to help you in this journey also make good timely decisions, right? So you're going to go deep into your research. You're going to identify 100 of the best possible partners out there that that if you were to engage, it would be a perfect fit in terms of like a match made in heaven for you and your offer, right? And whatever it is that you're bringing to market. In terms of the outreach approach, so again, this is a cold outreach strategy, and it's very heavily activity based because again, we can control our activity, right? And you want to focus on things that you can control, especially as you're getting to your first 100. And it's realistically again to cherry pick the market in terms of opportunities to be able to position offers that make sense for folks, right? So you're reaching out to partners and you're being able to have conversations and then get to deals that ultimately make sense that they want to do, right? So this is a cold outreach for partners, your ideal customer partner, and we're going to be using an interview strategy, which is the same type of strategy, very similar. This entire blueprint is very, very similar to what we do with our 100 first ideal customer personas, right? Why reinvent the wheel if the wheel already is working, right? If it gets you down the road and gets you to where you need to be, that's all that really matters. So let's not overcomplicate things, right? So first things first is you're building that list of 100. After you build out that list of 100, a suggested approach that works is again, lead with something like a podcast, lead with a reason to be able to engage and have a conversation with folks. And oftentimes by creating value, even if it's like simple marketing value, again, being transparent, leading with your why, telling your story, that stuff matters. And oftentimes by being just honest and a good human being, folks are going to be willing to help you, right? It's not always about can this person give me more value than I can give them, right? When it's on the other side of the table, as long as you're a good person and you're honest, even if you don't have a huge following, and because a big part of this strategy is you're reaching out to partners that are at a different level than you are, right? and you're trying to level up, you're trying to play up, right? Well, by you playing up, they're by definition kind of playing down, right? So you don't want to sell, yourself to be anything other than what it really is. Just be yourself, be genuine, be honest, be transparent, be a good person, lead with a story, carry a why, be a good entrepreneur, sell a vision, right? Sell a belief system. But you want to land onto the interview, and the folks that you're going to interview, if you're leading with, a transparent why, those are folks that are likely leading with their heart, and they're just folks that are willing to help, right? Because they're not looking at this like, I need to do this interview in order to get another, million followers to know who I am and, make X amount of dollars off of it, right? It's not like a traditional business decision. It's, all right, I get who this person is and I kind of want to help them. Why it's really important outside of just being a good person, but you get more by giving than by taking. You get, oftentimes better results by just being a good human being. So be transparent, lead with your why, tell your story, get the interviews with the folks that are willing to do it, because those are the ones that this strategy will work with, right? So once you have that interview and you're able to build a rapport and have a good conversation, you can then position, right? And you, again, want to create the article, right? You want to do the interview, make it really good, high quality content, create value for your audience, be able to demonstrate that you're executing on high quality things, right? Tied to the brand. Once you deliver some outcomes through this initial engagement and relationship, you're going to then position a partnership. And the partnership you're going to position is going to be some sort of really good offer, right? And if you've already worked on your offer, which is like your hook, story, and offer, right? Something that's getting somebody's attention, something that connects emotionally to be able to create an action, and then an offer that makes sense, right? Clearly a better value than the cost. Once you've been able to work on your offer, then you could position an offer that makes sense for that partner, and also more importantly, makes sense for the partner's audience, right? Because what you're trying to do here is leverage the distribution channels of these partners so that you can grow your own, right? And this is likely going to be some sort of like newsletter share or some sort of otherwise blast and or communication, right? Some sort of mass distribution method that whatever your partner is willing to do, right? And it's important that you kind of lead with some options, like please put this in your newsletter or something of that nature. But whatever they're willing to do is what you're going to back into. And this is why it's going to be something that's cherry picked, right? This is cherry pick economics because you're cherry picking whatever the deal is that you're making with each partner. Each partner deal is going to be unique because it's not like you're coming at them and saying, hey, here's $25,000. I want you to give me the lower footer of your next newsletter, and I want you to put this copy there. And that's that, right? Like you're not doing something that's standard, right? You're trying to cherry pick a deal. You're trying to figure out what makes sense for them in terms of willingness to do this. And what you're really trying to align around is some sort of offer, right? That then gets to a conversion, right? So they're making an offer to their audience. It converts their audience to a customer or a user for you, which then this partner gets rewarded for, right? And similar to like an affiliate type of relationship, a partner type of relationship, you want to align this into some sort of conversion-based pay performance if they're not just willing to do it for free, right? Because if you do this stuff up top and you approach it the right way, sometimes people are just willing to help and they'll do this type of thing and they'll blast you out in some way and they'll just do it without looking for anything, right? They're doing it for all the right reasons. If that's not the case, then you want to make sure that it makes sense and you just want to align into the variable upside, meaning you want this to be a pure profit type of strategy where based off the conversion, you know what you can offer and whatever they sell is going to be pure win, pure upside for you. And it's okay to make the offer in terms of the reward really appealing, right? It doesn't have to be like super, you don't want to necessarily use this strategy to try to make as much money or profit as possible. You want to get as much distribution as possible. So you really want to make it as appealing as possible to the partner. And that may be like a 50% commission, right? Or some sort of absurd high commission or incentive based off of the conversions and the performance, right? But again, each one of these offers is going to be unique because it's going to be on a per partner basis. You're cherry picking the market in terms of who's willing to work with you. The whole goal, though, is that it's aligned. You don't want it to be fixed, right? You want it to be aligned into a pure upside. And then ultimately, you want the conversions to confirm that the value is there, right? Like whatever you put together this offer really did work. And then you're confirming the fact that now you paid because you paid the rewards because you were able to convert these folks, that this is a good partnership, right? People are happy and it's a good partnership. And because it's a good partnership and the value was confirmed, you can hopefully repeat this, right? And this isn't going to be something that you rinse and repeat every day, probably not even every month, but maybe every quarter, maybe twice a year, maybe every year, right? And if you can get it into, again, because we always look for those flywheels, we always look to try to complete the circuit, right? You always want to have a system that cycles through, because the more that you can get something to cycle through, the better overall unit economics, the better, more sustainable, lower the cost basis over time, etc., better the economic outcomes. All right, so you always want to be able to cycle through. So in this situation, you would look to repeat it. And now you're probably going to change it, right? You're not going to use the same offer or things of that nature. You just want to repeat the partnership and repeat the process. And then, hopefully continue to do that over time, be able to extract and cherry pick as much economic value as the relationship. And then hopefully over time, as you continue to grow and your audience continues to grow, then you can start to offer more value back and give back to these relationships that helped you early into your life cycle, into your stage. But this is a really strong way, right? And we do this, after we've been able to figure out, like, to work, do the hard work first, right? So you definitely want to make sure you're doing this after you've already worked your own targeted list and you have paying customers, right? So you want to know the fact that you know who you're targeting. You want to be able to narrow in your past cherry-picked economic pricing in terms of like a per customer type of approach. You now know what you're charging, right? And it's a fixed basis. You know who you're targeting. You know what they're interested in. You know where the value lives. Like, you want to know all of these things, and then you want to have already tested out some offers, right? You want to use, have tested offers to see what resonates with the market at scale through some distribution, mass distribution, maybe it's your newsletter or whatever the case may be. And then you want to take those strategies and you want to bring them on over to these partners, right? So there's definitely stages in terms of when it's right to do this type of stuff, right? But once you've been able to get there, this is a really, it's a fairly scalable strategy. And you only need a handful of these partners to say yes and to run these types of campaigns. And as long as you did the economics in the right way and it's variable and you're aligned for the upside, then that's a very successful position to be in to get to traction. And the likelihood of you getting to those profitable outcomes that you were looking for is pretty high, right? But definitely don't put the cart in front of the horse on this one. Make sure that you're doing it the right way, for all of the right reasons, and then you will get to the simple profitable outcomes because of it.